What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over my second raid weapon, and this one's going to be the shotgun because the game told me that is what's going to be next. I got a lot of these to drop with some pretty interesting rolls, and it is called the Nessa's Oblation. So in this video, we'll be going over all of its very unique rolls that you can get on this weapon, and overall seeing how good it is, and comparing it to a few different things. So jumping straight into this weapon, it's going to be a Void Slug shotgun with a base of 6 magazine and 65 RPM. I would recommend using Assault Mag, which will keep it at 6 mag, but also bump up its RPM to 70. That's going to be the highest DPS on the weapon. And if we look at the left column perks on this weapon, there's going to be a lot of really good left column perks. There's going to be 4 that will increase the magazine size. So look at those ones first. Which ones should you be using? Well, starting off, it has the classic reconstruction that the Heritage had from Deepstone Crypt. And this perk will allow you to double your magazine. So if you have the base mag of 6, it'll go up to 12. And that will happen while in your hand or stowed. So it's kind of like an auto loading that also will double the mag. So this is going to be really good for not only boss damage, because you can shoot 12 in a row, but also for just general play. Every time you pull it out, you'll definitely have ammo in the weapon to take out the major, whatever it is. So that perk is really good. But you also have Envious Assassin, which could get even higher at 2.5 the base magazine. So in this case, from 6, it would go up to 15 if you got a lot of rapid kills beforehand. With the enhanced version of the perk, it'll be a little bit easier. But for most boss fights, depending on which one you're doing, it's not too realistic to get up to 15. But you could, and that would just be 3 more shots in the mag. There's also 4 times the charm, which will be a lower mag size. If you start with 6 and don't miss a shot, you'll be able to shoot 10 in a row without reloading, just like the Cataclysmic. So less shots than Reconstruction or Envious Assassin, but more importantly, you'll get 4 free bullets per magazine from Thin Air, which will greatly increase your total damage output. And finally, there's also Demo on the weapon, which means once you throw a grenade, it will auto-reload the magazine. So not only will you be able to get 12 in a row if you just shoot 6, throw a grenade, shoot 6, you could technically, depending on your build, shoot off 18 or even max reserves of 20 in a row with Demo. So overall, there's going to be 4 really good perks for DPS on this weapon to increase your mag size. I think Reconstruction will be like the best all around, very easy to use, almost no maintenance required. But if you purely want to max out the amount of damage this weapon can do, 4 times the charm will be the only one that will give you free ammo, making you do way more damage over your entire reserves. But really, you can make a case for any of those 4 perks being a really good choice. I think personally, I would usually stick with Reconstruction though. There's also some very interesting perks on the left for a slug shotgun, the first being Dragonfly. Now, while this is a precision-based weapon and you can proc Dragonfly kind of easily because of how much damage it does, it still is a slug shotgun, right? So it's not like you're going to be taking advantage of this perk too often, so it's not too good. But when you do use it, you know, it's not bad. If you kill Major and there's a bunch of things nearby, you could get some good use out of that perk. But there's also Repulsor's Brace, where defeating a Void debuff target grants an overshield. And in general, this perk is really strong this season because of volatile flow from the artifact, which will make Void weapons volatile when you pick up an Orb of Power. So doing that with this perk on the shotgun, once you get a final blow, you're going to get basically a full overshield instantly. And that is obviously really good. On top of all the resilience and stuff like that, it's going to make it even harder to die with that perk. But generally, after the season's over, when we no longer have that artifact perk, you're going to have to take advantage of Void in some way. Either this fragment right here, where getting grenade final blows will grant volatile rounds to your Void weapons, or from Void grenades weakening targets with this one, or a suppression grenade. Usually, you're going to have to take advantage of something from a Void 3.0 subclass to use Repulsor's Brace, but that is where the shotgun has an impossible role. In the right column, it also has destabilizing rounds, where final blows cause nearby targets to become volatile. So now this plus Repulsor's Brace, just with the weapon itself, no subclass, nothing, no artifact mod, you can take advantage of the full loop, and final blows will make things nearby volatile. Then when you kill them, you will get the overshield. I don't have this roll yet, but this roll is completely broken and OP. Usually to take advantage of Repulsor's Brace, like we mentioned before, you need to really build into a subclass and things like that. But now, just purely with the roll on a weapon, you can get the full loop going But the big catch is it's on a slug shotgun. So how often can you actually take advantage of that? I'm not sure. I think it could be a really cool role, just going up to a major, mini boss, whoever it is, killing it. It will then volatile the things nearby. And when you kill them, you'll get the overshield with the repulsor's brace. So while this is an impossible role that only one other heavy jail can get in the game right now, it is on a slug, so I'm not sure how good it actually is. Then looking at the other perks in the right with the damage perks, first you're going to have Vorpal and Frenzy, which will both be a 15% buff and very easy to get. But then there's going to be 3 20% buffs. The first one I want to talk about will be Paracausal Affinity, the new raid one. And for this one to work, you just need to get a final blow with any light damage, which means solar, void, and arc, either ability or weapon. And since this is a energy weapon, that obviously crosses off your kinetics, so it'd have to be a power weapon or your subclass. But honestly, for me, I would prefer Harmony over Paracausal, just because of the fact that since this is an energy weapon, most of your kills in PvE more likely will be with your kinetic weapon, and Harmony will also be a 20% buff that lasts for the same 7 seconds. But now you can proc it with your kinetic weapon or your power weapon. So I think for me, I would get way higher usage of Harmony for this weapon. But depending on your build, both perks are pretty similar. And finally, the other 20% buff, which I don't have on the weapon, is going to be Focused Fury, where it will also be a 20% buff, but you have to first deal half of the magazine as precision damage. So with a base mag of 6, as we've been showing off in the video, depending on your left column perk is going to determine if it's better than Vorpal. So if you have 4 times the charm and your mag was 10, it would equal out to a 14% buff exactly over the 10 shots. Then if you have a 12 mag, so Reconstruction, it would then equal exactly 15% and be exactly on par with Vorpal or Frenzy. But then if you have Envious Assassin with the full 15 shots, it would then equal 16%, exactly 1% higher than Frenzy or Vorpal. So for the work and the risk of like you missing a shot, I think Vorpal or Frenzy will just be the safer pick overall. Because with Focus Fury for 12 mag or below, it is at best on par, but usually lower damage percent. So I personally would just stick to Vorpal. So now looking at the damage of this slug, looking at damage on the ball, first without any damage perk, it's gonna hit for 44.7 thousand. Now with Vorpal on the weapon, it's gonna go up to 51.5 thousand. And looking at the rate of fire of a 12 mag, it's gonna be relatively quick at roughly 9.1 seconds, which means the DPS is pretty high for a special weapon at 67,000. So comparing that to some other precision weapons in the game, machine guns, the best of them are around 70,000. So honestly, not that bad at all. And compared to the Cataclysmic, it is roughly 80,000. So honestly, that's not bad for a special weapon at all. The main problem with this weapon isn't even a problem with the weapon itself. It's the fact that it is an energy special weapon. So we have a kinetic slug with the same Vorpal perk, looking at the damage on the ball, where the energy slug hits for 51.5, just using the kinetic, same perks, same boss spec, now hits for 59.2 thousand. So kinetic specials are doing 15% more than their energy counterparts, just simply by being a kinetic. And that is a free Vorpal worth of damage just because of what slot the weapon is in. So purely for damage, if you want damage out of a slug, you use a kinetic. And because of that, I'm not quite sure where this weapon will be used. Purely for damage, kinetics are better. It does have some really interesting roles, but the heritage in the kinetic slot has more or less the same ones. And while this has some really cool unique roles, such as Repulsor's Brace and Destabilizing Rounds, it is still a slug shotgun, so those like accurate based roles aren't too good on this type of weapon. So really, I want to see this weapon being used if you like need an energy slug, and it is for sure the best energy slug in the game. It's just that kinetics are better, and that isn't even the weapon's fault. It's just simply the system in the game. And now that I have multiple raid weapons, testing the origin trait where equipping multiple weapons from a set grant this weapon increased reload speed and handling, also increases damage versus Tormentors, Lucent Hive, and Guardians in their super, So I want to test the damage increase. So looking at the damage on a Tormentor with the AR, first without any other raid weapons, it's 1103. Now equipping the Slug to proc the Origin trait, it goes up to 1140, which is only going to be a 3.3% increase. So, I mean, it is more damage, but not enough to make me actually want to equip multiple raid weapons unless I actually want to use them. So yeah, overall, the god rolls I'd be going for on this weapon for damage, I probably would just go for Reconstruction plus Vorpal. Pretty easy, both perks are super consistent, will always be there for you. And I am interested in Repulsor's Brace plus Destabilizing Rounds. Even though it is a slug shotgun and, you know, it's not going to be a great Agler type weapon, I think that roll, if you go up to a major mini boss, wherever it is, and just kill it, it will then volatile everything nearby. Killing them will then give you the overshield. I still think that combo could be really good, just because of how strong that per combo is. Anyways, let me know what role you're going to be going for down below. The rest of the video will just be some gameplay from the Battlegrounds. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.